Howdy fellow skeptics, this is Lester the Skeptic Tank here once again. I am going to walk through, let me do some prep work here for the moment. It shouldn't take me terribly long. I am just going to do a general walkthrough of what is known as OFBiz, OFBiz. This is put out by Apache. Now, to my knowledge, or shall I say my ignorance, I'm unsure if this is closed sourced or open source software. So all I count on it being is a long-term alternative because I don't know how soon I'll be able to fully rely on it. Mainly because I know I have to build it from scratch. Maybe I can do things more modular in terms of building out what I wanted to do. Now, part of the background is OFBiz puts itself as an ERP or enterprise resource planning software. It's not your run-of-the-mill financial accounting software. There are plenty of those out there, but I've come in contact with a number of businesses needing various levels or depths of tracking when it comes to managing their business. So QuickBooks historically has been around for almost 40 years, if my memory serves. I think it started in 89, 90. So with that, particularly when it comes to owning your software, a lot of software is some or many of you have noticed gravitated towards subscription. In the gaming landscape, that's already been kind of adjusted to the point where when you buy that box, from what I researched a little online, you're not paying for what's in the box, but what you think is in the box, but all it is a game code. Now, I could be wrong because there are those gaming consoles that still play media. Maybe you get a title that's media in mind, or they have a physical disc in mind. To the credit of the Switch, I don't think they've moved away from physical game media yet, at least based on the stuff I picked up for the Switch I acquired. I think it was last year already. But anyway, let's not waste too much time. I'm going to just show you guys OFBiz itself. And yes, I was doing some late night scouring. So getting started, you get this business users. It shows you what you can do. Online demos. So there's a lot on the webpage for this product. What I'm going to do is highlight how easy it is to get started. So I downloaded the file. It starts off as a 30 megabyte file. I double click on it because at least in my environment I have a program called Arc, which automatically launches when I double click a zip file in the graphical interface, and then I just click extract. Then I go extract, and I'm going to open this. It should have given me a folder. There it is. Where is it? Yes, right here. Now I'm going to go to the README, and I can open it any one document. I can open it. Let's open it in. I already got one. I want to see what it looks like. I'm intrigued. Okay, ocular. But let's see. Interesting how they scaled the font really well. Can I look for things inside the text? Generally, you would use the Control F, and I can do find. And I'm just going to type in wrapper.sh. Okay. So at least, because I think in my previous attempts to record this, the text was kind of zoomed out. So this is cool. So at least it tells me what I need to do. And in my runs, I'm going to make sure I'm in the right area. So as usual, I had to switch to a different terminal program, at least in the graphical interface. LX Terminal is one that I was tipped about by a late friend. And one of the things selling me on it is that it had the transparency feature, among other things. That was a big seller for me, so I can see what's behind the window. So like right now, I'm gonna close this because I don't need. I already opened the doc file. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is see if I can zoom out. Do I have? Oh. Clear, scroll back. Preferences. Okay. This is what I wanted. So style, standard palette. Oh. What is this? Solarize. Okay. I'm going to try that. And advanced. Do I even have that? Confirmation. Let's go to display. Scroll lines, window size. Oh no, it don't. Does it have it? Visual bell, audio, audible bell. Monospace 10. Oh no. So that's a trade-off. I don't have it. Doesn't look like I can find. This is new to me. Doesn't show me anything about. Oh, that's too bad. Well, I'll paint it as something more agreeable with OFBiz. So what I'm going to do is follow the commands here. I'll show what's going on in the background. I'm just going to follow the instructions. I'm going to make sure I'm in the right directory. So to do that, I'm just going to change directory, and as you might have seen, I'm already in home. I put it in home, and I'm going to the main folder. To follow along, I'm going to just type the command like so. Now, what I'm going to do is start off. I'm going to start off with a the default demo view, just so you can get an idea of how much can be contained. So going back to the topic of how things are obtained with respect to games and software, so talking about subscription, talking about not having physical media attached, particularly when it comes to applications or office suites, whatever other applications you've noticed, a lot of them moved on to subscriptions. And then another one is being cloud-based, or browser-based. Okay. So, OFBiz is good in that it's web-based, that you don't need to worry about installing stuff. So a lot of the heavy lifting is going to be done by the administrator. So that's the other thing in terms of a business owner's thought process. What may be given up with respect to a recurring subscription, whether that's a monthly or annual, however you want to do it. Or do you pay someone? I don't know whatever the going rate is. So I'm going to make sure I can move along while talking. So it's building the default environment. And if you do it this way, it's going to take a little bit longer. But thankfully, I'm doing this on a solid state. I haven't tried it on an NVMe. It might be a lot faster. on an NVMe. Well, I take it back. This is an NVMe. No, this is my solid state. So it's doing all these tasks. So a lot of what people will see is not this. This is back end stuff. On the front end, it'll look a lot more appealing. So just getting it running, setting up the demo environment doesn't take much. Just these two commands and then the ultimate command when you start the backend. Once the backend is built, you can and it's running. You just point your browser to simply typing in local address and whatever port is set up by the administrators. I'm going to do a lot of the defaults. And this is just building the backend. Once the backend is built, then you start running the backend, running the database. Okay, that's done. And I'm just going to type in OFBiz, and that will start it. That will then move it into the running state. So you'll notice that based on this window, and it's going to just display that it's running. Most of the time, in a lot of command line or terminal environments within the graphical interface, holding down Control, tapping the letter C is sufficient to end the backend program. Now, technically, if I were to be simply an administrator and the machine I'm setting up, whether it's a Unix-based or Windows, I probably wouldn't log into a graphical interface to begin with. Here, just because I'm a multitasker of sorts, and it's just me on the computer, I'll probably do this for my eventual replacing of QuickBooks 2020. The other thing, too, that I've gotten aware of is with the increasing reliance on an internet connection for a lot of software for the purpose of activation and activation checks, I actually saw it where what I believe was a valid product license, but for whatever unknown reason, it was tagged as trial software. I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong, but I believe I had set my parameters for the right product type, and version. So let's see if, okay, because I saw the logo. I'm just going to just run this through. And web tools, and see if it's fully built. Looks like it is. And I'm going to see if I can get away with admin, the default, and then OFBiz. Yep, there I am. So this is what it's going to look like, and you're going to see the potential one may have when they see everything all built out. I'm going to go to HR, and they'll say here, your company name here, party group. So all of this information, this is all part of the demo experience. So I'm going to go right to employments, see how that's built out. Employees, I can do that. Show all records. And then from my standpoint, as an administrator to be, I will go into security, and you'll see a lot of the user logins. I want to see if demo employee 1 or demo employee. Let's see what we've got here. Enable security groups. My portal employee. Okay. And this kind of tells you project admin. Let me take a look at find user login. Let's see what happens if I go into rep store, and I will go to security groups. Order entry admin group, permission for creating orders. So it kind of gives you an idea of how you set up your users and permissions. I'm going to see if I can go to the accounting portion, because I know in my own experience supporting QuickBooks back in the day, I had interacted with many accountants. So they had different prerogatives than certain users that I'm displaying now. So I'm going to find a user login based on, okay. Apparently there are more. I'm going to show all, so I'm going to go to 100. Because apparently there are 50. EU has everything in here. Approver. So you can kind of see the depth of availability when it comes to setting up your users. The world is at your oyster. Now, when I talk about those cost structures, the evolution of the one-time versus subscription. So if I didn't know the term until I met a friend who'd worked in a support contract dealing with the differences. So the subscription has its ups and downs, as with anything else, as well. So does the one-time perpetual license, as it was termed in an official manner, technical manner. Perpetual license is the one-time cost. You own the software for as long as you own it, with the known stipulations or unknown stipulations about your support. Because I've been around it, that if you get the one-time license, your support window will be only so long. And then they'll ask you, however they arrange that agreement. It's not an unlimited cart of agreements, but it's basically, we can have you supported for this amount of days at this cost. Or we can have you on a different plan where you're supported a lot more sustainable manner, in other words. So let me see if I can find anything about accountants. Doesn't look like it. Accounting admin, okay. Accounting admin. So let's take a look at security group. Accounting functional, accounting admin. So what this could mean for me, what I might do is I'm here and I will say I might use OFBiz as the default. So if I were to go and open another instance, maybe I'll just open it in a private tab, excuse me. Because a lot of what you're seeing right now is just the backend portion. But there is something to I'm going to see if I can localhost and then I'm going to do order management, because at least according to the documentation, that's where I would go. Order manager. I would go continue localhost, and I'm going to try accounting admin, if I can type it. I think case sensitivity is a thing to account for as well. And I'm going to give OFBiz a shot. Cannot log into. Is it because I'm in the web tools, or because that's the thing? If it's like if an administrator, does that mean I go to web tools as well? Let's try that. Okay, I'm going to try accounting admin. I am learning this infrastructure as I go as well, because there are specific logins that one would need to do, or certain web pages to go to depending on their login and their security group. I'm going to try the default, or what I believe the default. Okay, user not found. Accounting admin. Okay, that's probably why. Can't log into this. Okay. What can I do for that? Find security cert issues. Let's see. No, find security group. Find your login. What does the no? Has logged out? No. So let's take a peek at documentation, because at least here I can say Control F. I think it's this one. Is it case sensitive? Oh, okay, it's in accounting. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Accounting admin. Because you're kind of seeing that the. Okay, so I'm going to try OFBiz. Yes. So this is accounting admin, and it's got a different look. All right. So we're in accounting, and so you're going to look at invoices. You might look at GL settings, chart of accounts. So let's go billing accounts. Let's see if it'll. We'll go find. Okay, so it has that. I can look at invoices, payments, and records found. Or I can go transactions, go find. And I can take a peek at what kind of transactions are we looking at. I can go do this. I can go accounting AR. Let's do that. different statuses. This is kind of cool. And then I can go to payments, see if there's anything I can find. Customer payment. Let's take a look. Payment applied. I can go to reports. Past due invoices. Interesting. Due soon. And this is an interesting categorization, party ID. I came across this when I tried to build it from scratch. And let's go into accounting overall. Financial account. And then see how they have billing accounts. Let's go. Fixed assets. Let's find them. Budgets. Let's find a budget. So a lot of this, it has a lot of things that you can manage at your fingertips. And in some ways, depending on where these users are sent based on their role, it does help mitigate undue actions in areas probably an employee may not have access to or shouldn't have access to. The one thing I find, at least on the front of QuickBooks, is you do have those guardrails depending on your edition, but you're going to have to pay a good amount of money to get that level of access control. And at the same time, compared to other titles, QuickBooks may not do the job for what one needs. It does very well on a basic level. But if you're looking at what I'm moving through right now, this has a lot at its fingertips. So this is the GL. And it has 494 accounts. Let's go 200. And I can print it as a PDF if I wanted to. Different types of GL on the general ledger. Now, depending on the version of QuickBooks or whatever, Zero, I think that's a popular one. Zero, trying to think of the other one. If there is another one. Come on. NetSuite. Don't know if there are different tiers for the other two titles I mentioned, Zero and NetSuite respectively, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there was. Not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but to maintain this kind of depth, there may have to, because especially if it's a cloud platform based software, there's a lot that goes into that, and of course those extra tiers help fund the maintenance and what have you. So this is just in the demo alone, and part of my struggle will be building this from scratch, because I'm just used to having things, just knowing what accounts I have, especially when I start out with something like this being a little overwhelming. I don't know about you or anybody else, but when I look at this many, This is overwhelming because it did say it had about 400 accounts, and I did it to 200 at once. So this is not every this. I think it's 3 pages because let's see. Can I click on next? Yep. I got 64 more accounts to go. And it's very interesting because I look at the level of categorization and the way they sort it. Pretty trippy. I mean, if you really gotta make sure the ducks are in a row, you might want something like this. Now, what I said about the cost structures, the thing is, for something like this, it's going to be the product. This one, OFBiz, and I could do. I've learned how to set up one from scratch. The next thing is building it from scratch. Now that will take me a good deal of time. Time I more than likely may not have. But what I won't pay dollars and cents for, I will pay time, energy. I don't know about sweat. That would be a trip if I end up sweating to the oldies while I'm trying to build this, if I'm being frantic about it. I don't know about tears, maybe I don't know about blood unless I bonk myself or cut myself unduly. But I can see this being, I don't know about a lifelong, but it's a long-term build-out process. Because if you think about, and I'm just looking at from just one and another role, the admin role, and then the accounting. Not to mention that you have all these other roles that you can set up. And what you may have to pay if you're a business owner, for example, you may have to think about what is the cost going to be to bring on someone to build and deploy this solution. And time is going to be money because depending on what you need, there might be some time spent on the build out to the way you want it. The next thing is the long-term stability of the solution deployed. Can the administrator teach someone to do basic admin functions to help scale the product to the needs of the business? So AP, let's take a look. Did I just do the purchase invoice? Now that's the other thing too, when you're going from one solution to another, if you're in that boat, well, Xero, QuickBooks, NetSuite might give it different terms. Like when I supported people in the past, I had to correct them because QuickBooks spoke a different dialect, if you will. People will call this an invoice. QuickBooks, because I'm in the AP section, QuickBooks will call it a bill. But I've heard many customers say, I got this invoice. And I have to ask a clarifying question. Well, was this an invoice for something you purchased or your customer purchased from you? Then we would go into the AR, accounts receivable, and then this side is accounts payable. So again, this is just the demo data. I don't know how long it would take for any person on average to build out something this deep. Because as you saw, as an admin, I had so much at my fingertips. You can have people from your own department enabled to do a lot of their tracking. And a lot of the documentation may feature integrating this with some other service or application that might help bolster the efficiency by which work can be done within this itself. But I can just tell right away, because of the depth of categorization, this build out is going to be a long time coming for me anyway. Alright, so this concludes the demo side of it. I'm just going to probably do a gloss through about how I would go about building it out, because I can build it out to such a degree that I can I can build it around life things, because when I look at that, and I'll explain more as I go, and this might be one of those scenarios where it's going to be a multi-parter, which I might have fun doing. And if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, because mainly this is just showing what a Linux user can do outside of installing VirtualBox. I've done that, I've installed VirtualBox, but like I mentioned in my VirtualBox video, I'm going to have to install the Microsoft Office suite. Not that it's like I can't do it. It's like, do I really want to? Because at least on my Linux side, I'm okay with the Office solutions that I have. So anyway, again, I'll probably touch more on it in the next installment, where I'm going to try to build it from scratch. And this is where this may be boring and this may be plenty fun, because you might see me slip and fall. So that does it for now. And if you want to stay tuned, again, if you have questions, comments, please allow them to be visible, because I've seen some comments that I couldn't see. I would be more than happy to read them, whether it's feedback or maybe a question. If it's something like what I'm talking about, like terminology, it's because when I was supporting QuickBooks, I was given basic accounting principles training, how to think and speak like an accountant. So I've done that long enough to where it's, I don't know if it's second nature, but I know enough to be dangerous. All right, until the next time, guys, next video, thanks again. As much as I love seeing new subscribers, I do appreciate a comment. And if you like it, cool. Don't have to hit that little thumbs up thing, but it'd be cool if you did. And just comment. Just ask me a question. I like to engage, and again, if you want me to do a live stream, say so in the comments. I'll think of it. My subscriber base is low, but I like to say numbers low, quality high. It's not that I don't want your love. It's just I want people who want to be engaged with me, and whether that's just shooting a comment or two, that's all it takes. I'll subscribe you back. All right, peace out, y'all. Check you on the other side. Bye.